Judges at the United Nations International Court of Justice have been told by South Africa that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. In opening remarks, the African nation pleaded with the court to halt Israel's military operation in the Palestinian enclave. South Africa points to Israel's sustained bombing campaign, which has so far killed 23,000. Israel, who will also present to the court, has denied the accusations as baseless. It has previously stated its actions in the Gaza Strip are justified due to Hamas's deadly attacks on October 7 last year. Well, joining me live is Dr Glenn Kolomeitz, military lawyer and defence academic. Dr Glenn, thanks so much for joining us. Two other lawyers have told Sky News today that the case against Israel is strong. Do you expect Israel will be ordered to cease military operations in Gaza and later found guilty of genocide?
Janie, I don't necessarily agree that the South African case is particularly strong, but that's a separate half of the argument. That decision will be made over a number of years, I suspect. But right now, the case they're looking at is the imposition of these provisional measures, so calling for this ceasefire, and the test for the ICJ in applying or in considering provisional measures is quite low. The actual test is that some of the alleged acts are capable of falling within the Genocide Convention. So that capable of falling within the convention is a reasonably low test. So that part of the case may be a bit stronger. But as I say, I'm not convinced that the case overall is particularly strong.
You've got a PhD in war crimes, you teach international criminal law at university, and noting that it isn't a criminal case, what exactly do you think is South Africa asking the ICJ to do?
Janie, you're quite right. It's not a criminal case. The ICJ is more akin to a civil action involving one state suing another state. So in this case, the South Africa is essentially suing Israel before the ICJ, asking the ICJ to find that Israel is responsible for these alleged international criminal acts, is accountable for those acts, and more immediately is asking for these provisional measures which would in effect lead to a ceasefire in Gaza. So which is why the South Africa asked for an expedited hearing in this case. They want to press for those provisional measures and then allow the court to look at the genocide issue over a longer period of time.
There's an Australian judge on the bench of the ICJ, Hilary Charlesworth. What do we know about her?
Janie, I had the enormous benefit of being taught by Hilary Charlesworth back when I did my Master of International Law at Sydney Uni many years ago. And in fact, I cited her on a number of occasions in my doctoral thesis. Hilary has a reputation for being a very balanced lawyer, and she is an expert in international law. I think she's a great choice on Australia's part to sit on the bench of the ICJ. And as I say, I think she brings quite a balanced mind along with her expertise to this case.
I want to get your opinion, if you don't mind, on the breaking news today on the US and UK conducting the joint military attacks targeting the Iran-backed Houthi rebel group in Yemen, and also Australia's input with that. The Defence Minister Richard Marles did confirm our involvement in the attacks, confirming that we have provided Australian personnel. He didn't really provide too much more information on this, but with your background and your experience, what would you be wanting to know?
Janie, we're not contributing to the strikes per se. Well, we couldn't, even if we had a ship there anyway, we couldn't contribute in that regard. We have 16 personnel on the ground at the multinational maritime headquarters in Bahrain. They're supposed to be providing some sort of coordination leadership role. I doubt they're providing much leadership in this strike, this seaborne and airborne strike in Yemen, because we just don't have a ship involved in this, and we don't have aircraft involved in this. I suspect they're in more of a watchkeeper role and a coordination role. We have 16 people there, Janie, and no ship, so look, more of a background role, but nonetheless, the US SecDef said we're supporting the strikes, so. So yeah, it's a modest contribution, I would suspect, Janie, but we're there nonetheless.
And do you know when an Australian military intervention in the Middle East has gone well?
Janie, not so much in my experience. As you know, we were in Afghanistan for 20 years, and tactically we achieved a lot. Strategically, we achieved very little. I think our maritime contribution to the anti-piracy or counter-piracy operations was quite effective, and I think that I doubt anybody would disagree with me in that regard. Which is why I strongly believe we should have contributed a vessel to this multinational force in the Red Sea. We've operated there before, and it's a bit disingenuous for us to say, well, we're focusing on our region to the exclusion of the Red Sea, when the Red Sea, securing the Red Sea, contributes so much to maritime commerce, which of course affects all of us.
Dr Glenn Kolomeitz, always appreciate your time and expertise. Thank you.
Thank you, Janie.